Hello music fans, you're watching Death by Unicorn where we talk about metal rock and prog music, and this is my top 25 albums of the decade so far. So my favorite 25 albums from 2020 to today, and I made myself limit myself to one per artist here, otherwise there might be some repeats. And my top 12 here are all albums that I would give my masterpiece rating. The rest are nearly there, near masterpieces. So without further ado, let's jump right in with number 25, which is, I will show a lot of these on vinyl, but there's maybe 6 or so that I don't have. I don't have my number 25, which is Where Myth Becomes Memory by Rollo Tomasi. Great mathcore album from 2022. Excellent female vocals. They're a great band from the UK, and this is their 6th album. Definitely check it out if you want to hear mathcore with female vocals, but also like not just completely chaotic mathcore, like turned up to 11 the whole time with dissonance and brutality, but also a lot of beauty and kind of like post-rock and emo melodic stuff going on in there as well. Check that out if that sounds good to you. Where Myth Becomes Memory by Rollo Tomasi. Next is one I've got a physical copy of at number 24. I've got Pain of Salvation with their album Panther. Excellent album from 2023. Great progressive metal. They're a band from Sweden. That's their 11th album. Next up, I've got one that I have on vinyl here at number 23. Exul by Neobliviscaris. Really awesome Australian band. Progressive metal. Quite extreme, like lots of harsh vocals on this one. No harsh vocals on Pain of Salvation. That one's a lot more tame and melodic, but this one's very much progressive extreme metal. There are clean vocals, there's violin. Really amazing band. I've seen them live. This one's from 2023. It's their 4th album. Every album that Neobliviscaris puts out is amazing, so definitely check them out. Next up, at number 22, one that I don't have yet a physical copy of, it's Hushed and Grim by Mastadon. Another great progressive metal album, and most of these albums on my list are going to be progressive metals. That's my favorite genre. There's maybe a couple prog rock, there's the mathcore one, maybe like one hard rock, but it's going to be mostly progressive metal, so hopefully you like that genre. Mastodon's a great prog metal band. This one, Hushed and Grim's from 2021. It's a long album, kind of double album. It's their 8th album. They're an American band. It's kind of like progressive sludge metal, so check it out if you like that style. And then at number 21, I've got Porcupine Tree with Closure Continuation. This is more of a prog rock album. It's not very metal. There's a little bit of metal influence here. This is from 2022, and it's how many albums do they put out? It's their 11th album. Porcupine Tree is a great band from the UK, and it had been a long time since their last album, The Incident. I'm trying to remember what year The Incident came out. I want to say it was like, no, it can't be all the way back in like 2009, could it? Might have been. So I think it was like a 13-year break between The Incident and Closure Continuation, as Steven Wilson went off to do more solo stuff and focus more on that and other projects instead of Porcupine Tree. I'm really glad they brought it back. Excellent album. Not the best Porcupine Tree album, but still a really good album. One of their best. Still probably in my top 5. I basically like their most recent 5 albums the best. So this one's great. And what do I have next? At number 20, one that I don't have a physical copy of, it's the album Endless Hallway by He Is Legend. Now this one's a bit of an outlier because it's more of a hard rock album, kind of metal too, like almost like metalcore influences, southern metal, but very like grunge influence. Very unique sound that this band He Is Legend has. They're also an amazing live band. This album Endless Hallway came out in 2022, and it's the 7th album by this American band. If you want to hear something that's kind of sounds like Alice in Chains meets like metalcore and southern rock influences all mixed together, definitely check this band out. And they even bring in like some progressive influences from time to time, like almost sounding like some moments of like Pink Floyd and stuff like that. I really love the whole catalog by He Is Legend. And they really change it up. Like they started with more of a like post-hardcore metalcore sound, and they evolved into this more of a hard rock sound. And I like everything they do, and their riffs are just awesome. Check out Endless Hallway by He Is Legend. At number 19, here's one that I've got on vinyl. Periphery 5, Gent is Not a Genre by Periphery. Great progressive metal band, and if you were to ask me what micro-genre to put it in, I'll put it in the gent micro-genre. It's not really a genre, but it is kind of like a sub-genre, micro-genre of progressive metal. Gent is that syncopated, that's the onomatopoeia for like hitting the low notes on the guitar on like a 7-string guitar with like a palm mute and just the gent sound. And that's what you hear a lot of here, but also other sounds here. They bring in like jazziness and classical and prog all mixed in with their metal and their gent. From 2023, this is their 7th album, I believe. They're a great American band. Definitely check this out, especially if you like that gent sound. Yeah, still everything this band puts out, Periphery is always great. So check out Periphery 5, Gent is Not a Genre. What do I have next? Next, I've got number 18, which is the heavyweights of progressive metal, Dream Theater with A View from the Top of the World. Great progressive metal from 2021. And this is their 15th album, and they're actually very shortly coming out with their 16th album. It's coming February 7th. Excited for that. Parasomnia. And Mike Portnoy is back in the band now, so really excited to see how they follow this one up, and hopefully they outdo this and get back. This isn't their best album. Like they were better in the past. Like my favorite album by them is Scenes from a Memory, Metropolis Part 2 from 1999. They did really well with their second album, Images and Words, 1992 as their breakout. And pretty much every album they've released has been at least very good, a lot of excellent, a lot of near masterpieces, and a few masterpieces. But this one's just near masterpiece, doesn't quite reach the heights of other things they do, but everything they put out is pretty top notch. You can always expect quality, amazing musicianship, technical playing, like some of the best players in the business. John Petrucci on guitars, an amazing shredder, Jordan Rudess on keyboards, just mind-blowing keyboards, probably the best there is, really. So definitely check this out if you like that kind of music that's very technical. But it's not just that. They also have a good, they're just good songwriters, so they have a good ear for melodies and choruses and hooks and song structures and taking you on a journey and concept albums and that kind of thing. So check this out, A View from the Top of the World, Dream Theater. Now I'm at number 17. I don't have a physical copy of this, unfortunately, but it's from 2024, Voidkind by Dune. Another progressive metal, kind of progressive sludge metal like Mastadon, kind of in that similar genre. This one's, yeah, from 2024. It's the third album by this band from the UK. Everything that Dune does is great as well. So check out Void Kind. Number 16, I don't have a physical copy. It's by the band Bubble Math, and the album's called Turf Ascension. This is just progressive rock, not so much metal, but it's from 2022, third album by this American band. Really quirky, interesting, unique sounding progressive rock, like very progressive and different and unique, kind of for fans of like Gentle Giant or like Mr. Bungle, or like fairly out there kind of stuff. But also pretty easy to listen to, even though it's out there. It's very fun. If that sounds good to you, check out Turf Ascension by Bubble Math. Next up at number 15, another very fun one that I don't have a physical copy of. It's Vengeance by 12 Foot Ninja. 12 Foot Ninja always puts out really fun, silly music, but also pretty heavy sometimes. This is alternative metal. And again, this one has some of that Mr. Bungle influence in there, because the genres kind of blend a lot. It's mostly alternative metal, but it's got a lot of prog influence. It changes genre a lot, like even things like funkiness is in there, and like gent, and or even just like typical kind of pop hooks are in there. A lot of great stuff here from 12 Foot Ninja on Vengeance. So check that out. This is a band from Australia, and it's their third album, and I think unfortunately it's their last, so I think they're done, which is too bad, because I would have loved to hear more from 12 Foot Ninja. Check out Vengeance, if that sounds good to you, by 12 Foot Ninja. Now at number 14, this is the last one on my list that I don't have a physical copy of, so from here on out I'm going to be showing physical copies for the top 13. But number 14 is Phanerozoic 2, Mesozoic / Cenozoic by The Ocean. This is progressive metal, kind of progressive post-metal from 2020. The 8th album by this German band. And they're just a great band. They have like almost like a concept discography going on, where they're talking about different geological eras of the world. And honestly, I would have even thinking of putting like, if we weren't doing a limit one per band, I might have had their other album Holocene. I might have put that above Rolo Tomasi and Pain of Salvation, and maybe even above Nea Obliviscaris. I really love Holocene by The Ocean as well, but I like this Phanerozoic 2 album just a little bit better, so I put that on my list instead. All right, and number 13 is by Lepris, and it's called The Aphelion. This is progressive rock. Lepris used to be more progressive metal, but their last few albums don't have as much metal and are kind of more progressive rock. We focus a lot more on vocal melodies and vocal acrobatics now, and like keyboards, and Einar Solberg's kind of the main creative force, but he surrounds himself with an amazing band, amazing drumming on here. Guitar playing is always amazing in this band too. And yeah, they just have the best like hooks and build-ups. So if you want kind of very dramatic, vocally impressive progressive rock with some heaviness and amazing drumming and just like awesome build-ups of energies in the songs with epic exploding climaxes, definitely check out Aphelion by Lepris from 2021. Their 7th album. They're a Norwegian band. Now, what else do we have next? We've got at number, so now we're getting into the masterpieces. So this top 12 here, they're all just masterpieces. Can't say enough good things about them. At number 12, I've got this album called Zon by The World Is Quiet Here, an amazing progressive metal album. Quite extreme. The vocals are very unique here. Very like low, clean singing, low pitch, like very interesting sound to them. This one's from 2023, and then the screams are also amazing on here. This is the second album by this American band, but I believe it's the first album with this vocalist. Their debut album has a different vocalist. It's also really awesome, their debut, but I think this one is the best that they've done so far of the two. Definitely check out Zon by The World Is Quiet here if you like extreme progressive metal. And another pretty extreme progressive metal one is Woe by An Abstract Illusion. Really awesome one from 2022. This band is from Sweden, I think. Yeah, it's their second album. Came out on Willowtip Records. And check this out if you're a fan of like progressive death metal, like Opeth, that kind of thing. Great stuff. Harsh vocals, clean vocals, epic compositions. Gotta love it. An Abstract Illusion and their album Woe. Now I'm at number 10. And entering the top 10 here, I've got this one, which was my favorite album from 2022, which is I Have Little to No Memory of These Memories by Toider. This one's more progressive rock, and the whole album's just one track. I think it's like a 40-minute, some really long track. I forget exactly how long it is. And it's the fifth full-length album by this Australian musical project by Michael Mills. He's an amazing vocalist, vocal acrobatics like Freddie Mercury of Queen, and he also plays the guitars, and I think he might play everything on this, to be fair. Like, he's just extremely talented. I think he plays the drums on it too. He toured with a band, so he had like a obviously he can't play it all at the same time, so he has to tour with the band. But yeah, I'd love to see him. Haven't seen him live or anything, but would love to catch Toider live one day. Would love to see him play this whole thing from start to finish. Really, that would be like super awesome to see. Check this out if you want to hear an epic, fun, very fun, kind of silly lyrics. Always kind of a funny guy with his lyrics and his artwork and everything, and kind of sarcastic and witty and really good progressive rock. Toider, I have little to no memory of these memories. At number 9, I've got The Last Will and Testament by Opeth, an amazing concept album, progressive death metal. They brought back the growls on this album. This is from 2024, and the 14th album by this amazing Swedish progressive death metal legendary band. I grabbed the wrong one. This is Incauda Venenum. One second, let me fix that. Here we go. Last Will and Testament. This, yeah, there we go. That's the proper artwork. It's like a family photo. Old, wealthy, rich aristocrat has died, and it's the reading of his will with his 3 children. Lots of dramatic twists and turns. Cool concept album. Narration by Ian Anderson of Jethro Tull. Flute featured on here by Ian Anderson of Jethro Tull. So just really awesome album. Great that they brought the death growls back. I like their stuff before with the death growls. I like their stuff in their prog rock era. They released 4 albums in a row that had no death growls, which I also love. But I was happy to hear them back on this. I think Mike Lackerfeld's one of the best at doing death growls, so gotta love it. Check out Last Will and Testament by Opeth. At number 8, I've got Tesseract with War of Being. Amazing progressive metal, gent style guitar playing from 2023. They're a band from the UK. It's their 5th album. This one features Daniel Tompkins on vocals, and he does an amazing job on here. He's on all the Tesseract albums except for one, which features Ash O'Hara on vocals, which is actually my favorite Tesseract album. I love the one with Ash O'Hara, but this one's amazing. Daniel Tompkins is amazing on vocals. You can always expect great vocals from Tesseract, great grooves and great rhythms. Some of the best damn rhythms of all time that are like surprisingly intricate and technical while sounding simple. Like there's all sorts of little variations and syncopations and polyrhythms and polymeters going on that are just really awesome. Check out War of Being by Tesseract. Next up, I've got number 7, which is Opus by the band No Spoon, and this is a debut album. I guess it's my favorite debut album of the decade. Yeah, I think that's right. I don't have any other debuts higher than it. This is progressive metal for fans of Dream Theater, another concept album. Great American band. Really excited to hear what they do next. Hoping it comes out this year in 2025. I think they're gonna re-record an EP that they made in the past under their previous band name, which I think was Ozai or something like that. I heard they're re-recording that EP, so I'm looking forward to hearing that re-recording. I've listened to the original EP and it's great as well, but I think their production's better now, their performances are better now, they're just better musicians now, so they'll probably be able to outdo their old EP. But I'm most excited to hear for what the follow-up full-length album to this will sound like. I really hope they can hit it out of the park again. Check out Opus by No Spoon. Now, number 6, I've got this album by Others by No One called Book 2, Where Stories Come From. Great album for fans of Between the Buried and Me. It's progressive metal, very quirky. Some parts are extreme and heavy with growling. Other parts are very catchy and melodic. And other parts are kind of quirky and weird. Just a fun journey. This came out in 2021, and it's the second album by this American band. First one's also amazing, and I hope maybe they'll put out a third this year. Let's hear it. Others by No One, Book 2, Where Stories Come From. Now I've got number 5, which is Avenged Sevenfold with Life is But a Dream, which was my favorite album from 2023. This is progressive metal, and it's maybe the most progressive on the entire list if you think about it in terms of like pushing boundaries of music and going places where no other band went before and blending genres that nobody blended in ways that no other band does. This, in some ways, even though people don't see Avenged Sevenfold as a progressive metal band necessarily, a lot of times a lot of their other albums are more like traditional heavy metal and kind of more poppy alternative metal that can be played on the radio and stuff like that, and they have a really big following. But they always kind of push some boundaries, and I really respect Avenged Sevenfold and like most of what they did throughout their career. I don't really like Hail to the King, and their debut album is a little rough production wise and has some cool youthful energy, but it's very unpolished and not quite up to snuff. But everything besides their debut and Hail to the King is just amazing, and this one is right up there. I don't know if it's my favorite by them, but it's definitely the most adventurous and the most progressive they've ever been. They have stuff on here. They have harsh vocals on here where a lot of their albums don't. They have, but not too much harsh vocals. They have a lot of clean vocals. They have auto-tune vocals. The album ends with like a classical piano sounding track. They have like a Frank Sinatra crooner sounding track. They have like Mr. Bungle and Frank Zappa sounding moments on here. They have influences from like Daft Punk and hip hop and pop and metal and hard rock and all sorts of things all blend together like industrial, amazing guitar solos. Just everything about this album is awesome. Masterpiece. Life is But a Dream, Avenged Sevenfold. At number 4, I've got one of my favorite bands, maybe my favorite band, a great Canadian band, Protest the Hero, with their album Palimpsest. Got this one autographed. Yeah, autographed by the band there. And this is progressive metal. It's got a lot of like punk rock influence in their progressive metal, which is interesting. I kind of like that. Not too many progressive metal bands have as much punk influence as Protest the Hero. They also have like amazing guitar playing and shredding with like tapping, sweeping, like busy guitar leads going on all the time. Soaring, high-pitched vocals by Rhodey Walker. Great album from 2020. Fifth album by this Canadian band, and everything they put out is awesome. And I have a feeling they're going to put out an album in 2025. I know that they've been in the studio, so looking forward to hearing what they do next. That's Protest the Hero with Palimpsest. That was number 4. So now I'm at number 3, which is going to be my favorite album from 2024, which is Charcoal Grace by Caligula's Horse. Masterpiece album, 6th album by this Australian band. I have a full review of this album on my channel, so I won't talk about it too much, but check out my review if you want to hear all my thoughts on it. Just amazing progressive metal, great guitar playing, amazing vocals, pretty much all clean vocals. Very unique sounding band, but I guess for fans of like Haken and Dream Theater, but they have their own sound to them. They don't really sound like anyone else. Awesome progressive metal, Charcoal Grace, Caligula's Horse. At number 2, I've just kind of got a couple bands that I'm a huge fanboy of at my number 1 and 2 spot. So even though these aren't the best albums by these bands, just like anything these bands put out could just be really high on my list. Like if they put out albums in a year, they're likely to be in the top 5, no matter how, like even if they're not their best work. But number 2 of the decade for me is going to be Haken with Virus. And I honestly contemplated Fauna as well, their other album that came out this decade, which is also a masterpiece. So Haken is one of the 2 bands that have put out 2 masterpieces this decade so far. The other one, actually, Caligula's Horse, I really like Rise Radiant as well, that came out before Charcoal Grace, but I think Charcoal Grace is just a little better. But this one, yeah, Virus, really close between Virus and Fauna. Honestly, maybe I should pick Fauna, but I don't know. I kind of like Virus. I like the epic Messiah complex on here. I like the heavy opening of Prosthetic. Yeah, I think Virus is just like heavier, more metal sounding than Fauna. So if you like that kind of genty heaviness, still has a lot of catchiness and like pop hooks and great choruses on here, and a lot of progressive, genre blending and time signature changes and prog epics. So fans of prog will like it. Fans of metal will like it. People who just like catchy choruses, they'll find at least moments that they like on here. Everything is really well done. Virus by Haken. Also check out Fauna by Haken if you like this. Another masterpiece. And then my number 1 by one of my favorite bands, maybe my number 1, maybe my number 2 band of all time, is Between the Buried and Me. And this is Colors 2. And my favorite album by Between the Buried and Me is Colors 1. And this is a sequel to that. And I definitely hear a lot of similarities in style to Colors 1. It's longer than Colors 1, though, I think. Significantly longer, I believe. But great album from 2021. It was my 2021 album of the year. 10th album by this amazing American band. Yeah, this is like 79 minutes long, actually. So pretty lengthy, but a lot of interesting variety on here. And this band even has some like punk influence in their progressive metal, which is something I always love to hear. And a song like Fix the Error. But they also get pretty weird. They get extremely heavy, like almost bordering on death metal, but a lot of metalcore influences in here too. Very technical, lots of guitar wizardry. If that sounds good to you, check out Colors 2 by Between the Buried and Me. So those are my favorite albums of the decade so far. Hope you found something interesting to check out on this list. Let me know what your favorites are down in the comments. I've seen some other great videos on this topic that inspired me to do this. Yeah, lots of other great videos out there. Who's done this so far? I know I watched one by Nathan on Shuffle. I've watched, I think, Scott from the Prog Corner, Kyle from All Media Reviews, and I think Rhyme Signatures and Notes Reviews have just done some of their top albums of the decade. I don't know if some of them might not have done it yet, but those are some of the channels that I watch that I think some of them have done it. Great stuff. Check out those other channels to see their lists, and keep following me. Hit that subscribe button if you like progressive metal. Every week I'll be posting my first impressions of new albums that come out in 2025. So if you want to stay in the loop on new music, definitely check those out. And maybe I'll even do some special videos this year where I talk about older music. I'm trying to figure out how to incorporate that in because I spend a lot of time focusing on the new stuff because I want to stay current. But I'll probably talk about some other topics like my favorite 5 album runs or something like that, which can touch on some older stuff. I might rank all the Yes Epic length tracks this year. Maybe I'll do that. Let me know if you have any video topic suggestions for me down in the comments as well. And stay tuned for next time. Peace out.